As we saw in episode 1, Pyto has a very good memory, so you can ask him to remember information that you want to use later. If you didn't see the first episode, I recommend you to click on that link. Those informations, also known as data, are contained in elements called variables. So variables are containers with tags for storing data values. Because they adapt their shape to the content, which is the value, containers can be of different forms. A simple box, a bag, a suitcase, or even bigger. We will see that later. Now, I can recreate a variable in Python language for Pyto to read it. A variable is created the moment you first assign a name and a value to it. Here is an example. We're gonna call the variable name and assign the value Pyto. First, we write the name of our variable, which is in our case also name, followed by the equal sign, and then the value Pyto. We can also create another variable called age with the value 9, just like that. That's it. See how easy it is? There are just small things that you have to know about variable's name. A variable can have whatever name you want. A short one, like A, or B, or X, or whatever, or a more descriptive one, such as age, name, last name, Pyto color, and so on and so forth. It's up to you, but it has to follow those rules. A variable name must start with letter or the underscore character, so you cannot start with a number. Also, a variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters, meaning from A to Z and 0 to 9, and the underscores character. Last thing to know about variables names is that they are case sensitive, meaning that age, and age are 3 different variables. That's it for the name. Now, let's focus on values. As its name suggests, the value of a variable can vary. I know. Let's take for example the variable age that we created earlier. If we assign a different value to it and then display the result with the command print, the result will be ta-da-da, a 5. But what happened? Quite simple. Pyto has in his memory overwritten the old value, the 9, with the new one, in our case, the 5. You can also change his name if you want, even if it doesn't like it. You probably noticed that values are not written the same. One has quotes, the other doesn't. It's because data or values that they convey are not of the same type. We will see more about that in future episodes. Well, we saw how to create a variable and modify its value. Now, we'll see how to delete it. It's very easy. You can do it with the command del and put inside the variable name. So, once it's done, if you run the program and ask Pyto to retrieve the variable name, it will send you a message saying that this variable doesn't exist. We saw how Pyto memorized variable, but how does it materialize in the idle world? Let's do a quick simulation to see how Pyto deals with it. As soon as we create a variable, it appears on a map. Pyto will follow the commands, and once it comes across this variable, it will read it and remember information into its memory. Now, it's stuck in his memory, and anytime you need this information back, you just have to write the variable name down to access its value. He will search for the name in his memory and replace with the corresponding value on the map. Cool, huh? It's like having an external memory to quickly access information. And the only way to remove it is to overwrite or delete the variable. Does this sound familiar? We done! Now we know how to create a variable, how to modify it, and how to delete it. So it's time to investigate data types. See you in the next episode. Huda!